his podcast for Monday?
I'm too cheap for podcasts.
If he invited you, would you go?
No.
What was your reaction to NASCAR penalizing him?
I don't really have one. It's not my deal.
Do you guys talked after the race on Sunday for a while on pit road? I mean, do you feel like there's an understanding, or is it any different? Because I'm sure you probably felt like there was an understanding after you had breakfast with them last year. Where do you feel like things are, and how's it differ from what it would have been after that breakfast last year between the two guys?
Oh yeah, we just agreed that we're willing to judge each other moving forward. So really the biggest thing is that for me, all I can do is hold up my end of the deal and mentally judge him moving forward, and then keep my car off of his.
How long do you think this truce is going to last? I mean, do you feel like there's potential for it to actually be a truce? I mean, we've seen you guys kind of be into each other for a year now.
I'd say the same thing. What I can do, I can control my car, and I don't want to be running into guys, so I just need to do a better job in some key moments that I could do myself a lot of favors.
Did you feel his sentiments on the podcast reflected the conversation that you guys had post-race?
I didn't listen to his podcast.
Why did the detente work with Joey and it hasn't worked with Hamlin?
Because I spun Denny out here in the fall on accident, but yeah, I didn't mean to, but yeah, that's what.
I'm sorry, I meant Logano. I mean, Logano said that the two of you have talked and that everything's copacetic, but it's like you and Denny are like a couple of magnets.
Yeah, I mean, even rolling out for qualifying, we were nose to tail, so that's set by the metric. So even the great metric puts us together. I don't know why.
Were you angry after the race last week that he lost that many spots on something, or do you just feel like it was? I mean, he said you came up to him and said, "I guess I deserve that." So did you just feel like, okay, that's just the kind of, I don't want to say penalty, but that's just racing and the kind of back and forth you're going to have?
Initially, when I'm hitting the wall and realizing we finished last on lead lap cars, I'm mad. I'm human and we work really hard to finish good, and we were going to. So yeah, definitely mad. Cool down lap, still mad, and just had a lot of self-talk and weighing out all my options, and I felt like getting out of the car and talking to him was going to be the best way I could go about it, and really just kind of asked myself what could I gain by getting out of the car, and what were my options, and I felt like the most gain for me was to get out and talk to him.
Denny, on his podcast, mentioned that he has a better understanding of how you grew up racing and that you had to be aggressive growing up on the short tracks. Can you talk a little bit more about that in your own words? Can you kind of repeat what you said to him on pit road?
Well, I think he remembers his years growing up short track racing a little different than they probably honestly were. And I told him that. I don't think it was all just nice guys riding around a racetrack and never bumping. So I think he's remembering the good old days a little better than they were.
Who have you relied on for advice coming through the ranks as far as racing other drivers with respect? Has there been that guy? Has there been that mentor outside of Justin that has said, hey, Ross, have one of the champions of the sport come up and talk to you over the course of your tenure in NASCAR?
I would say I surround myself with a lot of people. I keep my circle pretty small, but I take advice from a lot, and we'd be here too long if I listed out all the past drivers and past champions that have given me advice. But a lot of just not. I don't need them to have a championship to take their advice. So I take advice from a lot of people that honestly don't get asked a lot of questions.
Has NASCAR required you to sit down and talk with Denny at some point since last week?
No.
Do you think they should?
No.
A lot of talk today about where is the line between wet routine racing contact that NASCAR will allow and intentionally wrecking, do you feel like you have a good sense of what you can do and can't do?
I'm always learning and I'm always evolving, and I think as a race car driver and a human being, I'm going to always evolve as long as I wake up in the morning. So as I think for me, what I've learned from all this is, there was a couple of mistakes that I've made that compounded themselves, and coupled together with a guy like him, it's gonna get a lot bigger than it probably ever should have. So I've learned a lot through this whole process for sure.
Is it gonna be all fun and games till somebody gets hurt?
I don't really have a comment on that.
Pit road here. What's the risk versus reward? How do you look at that, especially with it being so long going into turn 3? And how much more of a risk, or do you have to back off to avoid the potential pit road speed penalty? What that can do to you?
Yeah, I think that there's 0% risk that I'm willing to take to speed. So I think the fastest I'll ever have went around the corners was just now on my qualifying in lap, where we tested it. NASCAR gave us that option, which I would really appreciate. And I imagine those speeds that I just clocked will probably be the fastest for me for the rest of the weekend. I just go over 2 laps down right away, and then in a few laps you'll be a 3rd lap down when the pack catches you. So I can't. But the problem will be something happens and you have to pit under green, not for fuel or something, but something silly, and you're going to go 2.5 laps down right away. So you compound that and you have to come back down again. You're going to go. You'll just be 5 or 6 laps down quick, and I'm okay with it being different, and I'm definitely okay with it not being the alternative of pitting off turn 4. That was going to be a big wreck.
How will the dynamic of COTA change without stage breaks?
This is Harrison Burton, driver the number 21. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check out one of these 2 videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.